Hey friends, Ryan here, and sorry for the noise. It is 100 degrees out here today, so I got the fan going. So today we're going to continue work on this Blue Max machine here. So this one is not the big sexy flashy stuff, but it is something that I like to do just all in one, bite the bullet and do it and get it out of the way. And that is to go through everything and make a shopping list. So I'm going to do a few things. Okay, so I got the schematics here, which I got this nice copy from, I guess I didn't stamp it, but from Steve Young there at Pinball Resource for Blue Max. So it has this list, and most of them do. Some of them have what the coil should be, the resistance of the coil, but this one does not. Anyway, it's got this, list here of all the coils in the machine that are so small even I'm having trouble reading them. So anyway, I'm going to go through, and for example, we'll just do one real quick. The knocker is N26 1000, right? So we got the knocker knocker board here, and we see the coil is dirty, but it is in fact N26 1000. All right. So then we're going to take our multimeter. I've got so much shit. We've got 6 strollers and 2 kids, and a wagon that's all in my garage. Let me set you up here. Alright, so we got our multimeter set on resistance, and this isn't connected to anything, but sometimes it's a little wonky reading, but for the most part you should be able to tell if it's at least shorted. So just measure across the coil. It's 9.5 ohms. So I got my handy dandy pad here that I wrote down notes of everything that I've done so far. So I'm just going to make a list of all these coils and their resistance and check all of them and see if they're shorted. And then once we do that, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to look and see if there's anything obviously wrong. But once we do that, we're going to go through and just inspect everything and say, is this missing anything? Is this broken? You know? Make a list of the coil sleeves we need. Just anything obvious that's wrong on this board, the Playfield, the mech board, and the back box. So it takes a while, it takes a couple hours, but you'll know exactly what you need to order and everything will be good. So let's just do that one step at a time and we'll come back. Alright, so I've done them all on the mech board here, and you can see, just kind of write down the resistance, coil sleeve color, in case you have to make new ones and they get all ruined, and just keep track. And you can kind of tell, once you do a few of them, what they're supposed to be. Like for example, K28 1200 tested 15.3, K28 1200 15.3. So I didn't have any that were really suspect on here, so it doesn't make for a good example. However, this Chime unit here, now just for show, but I did test it several places, but you can see if I put one lead in the common and one lead in the single, tests about 7.9 or 8, so that's this one. And then if I put it in the other one, it's completely open. So occurs to me just now to do this. That's open too, but it should be this. So we got to keep our eye on this. It may be either burnt out, but the coil looks fine. It just may have the lead gone or something. I don't know. So we'll have to fix that. A little dirty, but it still sounds pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to do the Playfield and then the back box. And get this show on the road here. Another thing to note, all three of these units are completely seized up. So that's not good for anybody involved. But I don't see any obvious broken or damaged parts, so probably just needed to be taken off, cleaned, and reassembled. Got a little rust going, so polish all that out and it'll be all right. Transformer looks okay, I guess. Square motor. Turns reasonably freely. Fuses. We'll check those before we turn it on. See what kind of light bulb this is, but I think that's wrong. Might be the tilt one or something. Play meter. However, it has been completely disconnected by somebody, so we'll have to reconnect that bad boy. Definitely needs a new cord. Needs repinned. Oh, that just sounds exhausting. All right, making lists. Something fun to note here. Neither of the flippers have coils in them, or I mean coil sleeves. This coil here is a little suspect, but I don't know. I have to take that off of there and see if that's the right one, if it's marked on the top or bottom. This one tests about like I think it should. This one's a little light. So, all right. So I found two errors in the schematics actually to do with this little mech board back here. I believe it was this one, the change relay is labeled here as K291400. They had it as K281200 on the schematics. So it matches this. So I'm not sure which is correct, but I assume this one is, since that's what they put and that's what it says. And this one is the whole relay. That's not on the coil list at all. It is on the schematic. Obviously, you push in the hole, it turns on the relay, which, you know, scores your points, does it around, and kicks the ball back out. That apparently is locked up as well. Anyway, that's not concerning that I found two errors, you know, just doing this. So, oh well, onwards and upwards, I guess. So the slingshots and the pop bumpers are DC'd, because why not, right? They have diodes on them, but it's just those four coils, because, you know, weird. So you come up here and there's a bridge rectifier, a fuse, and a capacitor. So I gotta test all them, make sure they're all good. And keep going on. Oh, I'm sorry. That just kind of hit me. So, keep going, see what we end up with. Okay, we got done testing all the coils, making notes of all the, there's a number of capacitors and there's a diode back here, and there's capacitors on all the 10,000 units. This one broke off. I don't know if we're gonna have to repin these connectors, but I'd imagine it wouldn't be too bad of an idea. If there even is such a thing. So not bad. I'm gonna go through now. I made a list of all the coil sleeves. Now I'm gonna go through and make a list of all the Playfield parts and pieces that I need. Like the rubber kits, flippers, debating on getting posts, all that type of fun stuff. So I got my list here of all these coils. Coil sleeve color. There was quite a few mistakes. Like they must have used that schematic template for a few things and just didn't quite do it all. There was 3 or 4 ones that aren't actually in this game, and I think 2 that were not on the list. Then the cap values are all the same. They all look original. They don't have dates on them. But they're not the right value. There's a couple coils that were not the same value as in there. So, all right, well, keep rolling and see what we get to. All right, so last thing I did for today is I went through and made a list of most of the parts that I need. So there's 2 inserts that came out, but I found them in the box, or in the cabinet. One there and one there. However, I do not have this one. So I'm hoping that PBR can find me a 3/4 inch patinaed insert. Otherwise, I may just have to like give it a yellow 30 wash or something. It's hard to find the parts because I found a plastic set, because these are just like toast, but it doesn't have the plane. I can't find spinners or drop targets, but I haven't looked too hard, so I'm gonna ask around and look. These are yellow apparently, and these 2 on the outside are white. The bumper skirts are supposed to be yellow, that's correct. PBR did not have these bumper caps that I can find, but they do have ones that are the same, but they've got a red ring around the 100, so I'll ask Jimmy, and if he's got them, or if not, I'll just use the ones with the ring. I want to take these off to see if I can just replace the bat, or if I have to get the whole shit and caboodle. In other words, I got to take these out and see if it's destroyed, or if it's still the metal part in there is still good. The manual says there's 8 of these red posts. I only see 6. Though the manual doesn't even have this button right here in it for some reason. It's got the one down there, but it doesn't have that one. Also, it says 27 posts, and I counted like 38 white ones. So, but I would like to take this all apart so I can line them all up and count what I need. I don't know what these nuts are called, but there's a couple missing. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's pretty good. We can live with that plane. We can clean it up real good, and maybe, I don't even know if you can retrobite something like that, but anyway, clean the aprons, the top apron or the bottom apron or whatever is somewhere in the garage here. So I think next time we'll start taking this apart, getting situated to work on the top of the playfield. It's a lot easier to work with it like this, even than on the rotisserie with this lawn chair. It occurred to me being lazy. The mech board is pretty straightforward. I gotta find Molex pins. I don't know, all in all, it's not a very complicated game, but it looks fun. The spinners and everything. So, yeah, keep it real. Stick with me, and we'll get this done. And thanks for watching. Later.